Hi. So, I am going to start posting videos based on my journal and based on my current situation. And I will not mention any last names or full names, but I will otherwise mention names because I believe that it is scriptural that we go through things and we address problems with the person who hurts us. And then if that person doesn't listen, we go to that person with witnesses. And then we go to the church. And so there are just so many things in my situation that have not been governed by God's word. And so I'm going to just share with you. These are notes on February 21st, 2019. So now this is January 13th, I think, 2024. So almost 5 years ago. And I had a time with somebody named Ron. And my preparation before that time, I wrote down some things that I'm just going to read. And then I'm going to read my notes from the time of what he shared. Okay. Some of these are just little notes, so they were to remind me of what to bring up with him, and I may not have complete thoughts with them, but it says preparation for time with Ron. Okay, I shared with him these goalposts, like a field goal in football, and that my therapist had told me that my situation was such that I could be completely prepared and knowledgeable and skilled at kicking a perfect field goal. And then I could do that perfect kick, and the field goal may be is like the determining whether or not a game is won or lost. And I do the perfect kick, and it would have gone straight through, right in the center. But alas, the field goal moves right while the kick is taking place. And so he said, anyone in that type of situation where the goal is a moving target can be driven insane. So I told that to Ron, and I said, and the goals in this game feel like the following. My husband has no rules. Sorry, the rules in this game. For my husband, there are none. None. If I gave examples of what has been allowed, everything has been allowed that he wants to do. And it's still being allowed. But I have to fix my appearance, and that includes be 115 pounds and fix my teeth in order to get a hug. I am not allowed to express pain, especially related to my husband's mom. I am not allowed to have a bad day. If I have a bad day, then my husband wanted permission to not come home that night. I'm not allowed to express anything that he does not want to hear. And I have things in writing along these lines, and I'll be sharing journal entries. I'm not allowed to raise my voice. I must get rid of my dog, who's therapeutic to me, and who my therapist said is an actual need because of this moving target situation. I need something that is not a moving target for affection. I need to leave the room, stop talking, and leave the house on command. I am not allowed to tell anyone what he doesn't want people to hear. I need to write an apology on demand, not contact him on demand. Let's see. And the stakes, if I don't... I'm not allowed to say anything that would send him to the hospital, in quotes, and those are in emails from my in-laws. And I need to honor all of my husband's requests. Those are things in emails from my in-laws. Donnie, sorry. That's the first name, though. I said I wouldn't use full names. He can say he doesn't want me to feel better. He doesn't want me to be with him as he draws his last breath. He can send me away from my house and say I could never live with him ever again. He can say very hurtful words, including that my tone of voice is clearly like, he said, I sense in your tone of voice that you are somebody who could send people to a gas chamber, basically referring to my German heritage. Okay. What I lose by not kicking that perfect field goal is my husband's presence, touch, any expression of affection, my health, which has gone down a lot anyway, safety. He's gotten out on the freeway with me in the passenger seat and with me in the driver's seat, both. I've lost my service and function in the church. I've lost his and his family's approval. I've lost permission to keep my dog. I've lost permission to come to our home for years. I've lost permission to contact his family. I've lost permission to tell anyone that we are even separated. I've lost reading the Bible together. I've lost a lot. I've lost my marriage in all sense and purposes. What's at risk are Nathan and Christy's, our children's well-being, their peace, their trust, the Lord's testimony, my church life, my relationship with my husband's family. My job has been lost through all this. My health. And finishing our course together. And what is at stake, I put, is even my physical life. I think I talked to Ron about various health symptoms. Okay, then I asked him, how do I care for myself? Which people say, make sure you take care of yourself. But when my husband is my very heart, how do I take care of myself? How do I leave everything behind, as it says in a booklet about praising on page 23? I told Ron about the night before, last night's date, that around 10:15 at night, I had gotten into California. I was staying with a sister named Susanna, and my husband texted saying, are you in town? Do you want to meet? To meet at Winchell's? And I'm not a donut person. I'm not a coffee person late at night. But I said, sure. And I put on a little bit of makeup or whatever and went to the nearby Winchell's, and he was already there. The Tesla was there in the parking lot. I drove up in my rental car because he had said I can't use the Tesla when I'm in town. He said at that table that he could arrange to be out of the house for a little bit so that I can come by and get what's needed for our filing of taxes, because I usually did all of the work toward our filing of taxes. And after our date, he said he can't meet with me anymore while I'm in town because I didn't act happy enough to see him. So I told this to Ron, that was the date. Okay. I have written 2/21/19, so I had my time with Ron. I did most of the talking. After I talked a lot, he stated a couple of times that he hears me and that he doesn't think less of Donnie or me. After I talked a lot, he asked, one, if Donnie ever initiates contact with me, and that's, I think, when I told him about the Winchell's date. Number two, if brothers in LA know our situation. He encouraged me to, one, just let Donnie initiate any contact. Two, receive grace to accept any limitations. Three, know that Donnie loves me and no one has replaced me in his heart. He reminded me of my words that no one but Donnie was in my heart. He referred to a time Donnie spoke of hoping to make it to 60. He expressed concern about Donnie mentioning suicide. As we left the room, Brother Ron asked what I'm doing next, and I told him, told me to learn to allow the Lord to serve me, to pour oil and wine in my wounds, and to care for me, to serve me. I wrote, I am at peace. Also, Brother Ron said at least twice that he believes our relationship is not over and that there are wonderful and glorious days ahead. I think I'll stop there for now.